Today we're looking at the newly released Elgato HD60 X capture card and comparing it to its predecessor, the Elgato HD60 S Plus. Which of these capture cards will work best for your setup? Are we going to see a difference in the resolution quality for your games, streams, and recordings? Is this new capture card future-proof? Let's find out. Before we get into showing the differences between these two capture cards, let's have a quick word from our sponsor, Own Pro. Are you ready to amplify your stream? Own Pro offers hundreds of unique overlays and alerts in your favorite language to fit any streamer's style. With the Own Pro plugin installed in your OBS studio, overlays can be added at the single click of a button. On top of that, you can get copyright-free music and sounds via the Epidemic Sound Library, a chatbot, and much more. Get started for free using my affiliate link in the description below, and if you decide to upgrade from the free plan later on, you can use code MidnightMan at checkout for 50% off your order. Alright guys, so as of today, the Elgato HD60 X capture card comes in at $200, and the Elgato HD60 S Plus comes in at $180. So only a $20 difference, but what are we missing out of that $20? Both of them are external capture cards, meaning that they're going to be able to plug in directly into any Windows or Mac computer. If you go on Elgato's website, for each of these capture cards, they have their list of recommended system requirements that you want to follow. For my lovely Mac users, both of these capture cards are going to work whether or not you're using an M1 chip-based Mac or an Intel chip-based Mac. The Elgato HD60 X, it's a bit lighter than the HD60 S Plus, but literally the setup process between the two capture cards is exactly the same, with the HDMI in coming from your console to the capture card. HDMI out is going to go from the capture card to your monitor or TV. You have your USB-C cable that came in the box that's going to come from the capture card to your computer. But of course, if you're like me and you're running a Mac, I definitely recommend doing a USB-C to USB-C connection, super speed. I'm still using the Godspin cable over here, but that allows for a direct connection from your capture card to the computer so that you don't have any dongles or anything in between interfering with the connection. One thing that we can't forget about that both of these capture cards have is the analog audio in port. With the HD60 X, you're going to find this port on the front of the capture card, which actually is a very convenient location because you can use your ChatLink Pro cable and plug it in if it's facing you on your desk. That is one component of the setup if you want your game and party chat audio to come from your controller to your capture card while your microphone that's connected to that ChatLink cable is recorded at the same time. But that's only for the game to be able to hear you, not the stream. Stream is not going to hear you. You're still going to need a secondary microphone for that, but that's the purpose of the ChatLink Pro cable. By the way, if you're using PS5, once you have all this stuff set up, yeah, you still need to turn off HECP. Next, I want to go over the pass-through and capture resolution qualities that you're going to get from each of these capture cards. On screen right now, you're going to see a chart that breaks down the pass-through resolutions and the capture resolutions for each of these capture cards. So to take the cat out the bag, 4K 120 is not going to be compatible with either of these capture cards to record in any sort of resolution. That would have truly been the future. But if you want to do that, you're going to need the 4K 60 Pro Mark II capture card, which you have to install that into a PC tower build. For the Elgato HD60 X, you can record in 2K 60 or in 1080p 120 or 60. But if you're using the HD60 S Plus, you won't be able to play in 2K 120. Let's push the refresh rate to even higher. 1080p 240 is only going to be able to be passed with the HD60 X. Same for 1080p 120. Only the X is going to be able to pass this through. For 1080p 60 pass-through, you'll be able to use both capture cards to record up to a 1080p 60 resolution. I know 120 FPS is a thing that people are really excited about for both PS5 and the Xbox, but the thing is, there is a very limited amount of games that support 2K or 4K at 120 FPS. We'll hopefully get the 2K resolution update on PlayStation 5 soon, but luckily we do have VRR enabled for select games on PS5 today, making the HD60 X capture card perfect for gamers that have a TV or a monitor with variable refresh rate support, meaning you have a display that dynamically syncs its refresh rate based on the FPS output from the console or your graphics processor. Now, that's not the kind of monitor that I'm unboxing in front of you right now. I got this display so that I could test out the 120 Hz pass-through capabilities, and boy, I gotta tell you guys, it was so smooth playing in 120 frames. Like, Oh, and the fact that with the HD60 X you can pass and record this frame rate is awesome. Now, how about the software that you can use with the HD60 X capture card on your Windows and Mac computer? Well, we got OBS and Streamlabs Desktop, which on both of these applications, you can go ahead and add a layer and then go ahead to the video capture device option and add in the Elgato HD60 X capture card. Really straightforward for Mac and Windows with those apps. But if you want to use Elgato's applications, this is where things get a little bit funny. So on Windows, you can use the 4K utility tool and add in the capture device to be able to be recorded. But on Mac, if you try to use the Elgato game capture software, you'll quickly find that it doesn't work. It's not compatible. And I'm not even sure if Elgato's even planning to update this application. I don't believe so. I don't think it's gonna happen. It's been a while already, so it's probably not gonna happen. But why is this a problem? Well, if you're using the analog audio import on your Mac trying to record gameplay off the HD60 X, you're not gonna be able to pull any of that audio from the chat link cable. You're only gonna be able to do it over HDMI, and there's no way for you to switch that audio from HDMI to analog. So you're literally out of luck. If you're using the 4K utility tool on Windows, you can go into your settings and then just select the drop down and select analog audio. Now, if you decide to go the HDMI route, then you can just listen to your audio on your computer, which the latency is, I would say, exactly the same as the S Plus. It's very, very minimal, close to real time as you can get, as you can see with how things line up between what happens on the gameplay screen versus in the preview picture. One thing I noticed though, looking at the 4K utility tool, is the fact that I don't see a recording option for 120 FPS. Aren't we able to record in 120 FPS? The option doesn't exist in the 4K utility tool. So the workaround for this is going into OBS, and within the video capture device source for the HD60 X, you can actually set whether or not you want to match the FPS output, which is whatever you're trying to pass through. So if you're playing in 1080p 120, that's your output. Same thing will work on Mac as well, except you can actually select 120 FPS as your recording frame rate. Just make sure you adjust your canvas settings within OBS so that your capture device can match what you're trying to record. But seriously, Elgato, I hope you can update the 4K utility tool so you can record 120 FPS straight from your app. Up next here, let's take a look at the recording quality that you're getting out of the HD60 X compared to the S Plus. Here I've captured some example gameplay footage using both of the capture cards. Can you guys tell which one is which? And which one do you think is better in your eyes? Pause the video and take a guess for yourself. All right, good? You have a guess? Well, if you thought that the left side was the HD60 X, you're wrong. The right side is the HD60 X, the left side is the S Plus, but honestly guys, I don't see much of a difference in the capture quality between the two. The HD60 X raw output looks a little darker to me than the S Plus. But other than that, the gameplay recordings look the same to me. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. So what's our final verdict on the Elgato HD60 X capture card? Well, I'm gonna tell you that it depends on the kind of gamer that you are. Are you trying to record off of a PC? Are you trying to record your PS5, your Xbox Series S, your X? What games are you playing? Do they support 120 FPS? Are you playing in 2K or 4K resolution qualities? That's really the big thing here. If you're trying to play in a higher refresh rate, such as 120 Hertz, then yes, you're gonna wanna pick up this capture card, because with the other one, the S Plus here, you're capped at 60 Hertz. You're not going over it. To add another layer to that, I'd also recommend this capture card if you're someone who's trying to get super slow-mo video. As you saw in the test footage in this video, 120 FPS and stretching that out in your editing software really makes the slow motion just so buttery smooth. I'd also recommend the HD60 X for people who don't own a capture card at all right now. For those of you guys gaming in 1080p 60 Hertz or 4K 60 Hertz, this update isn't worth it at all. I would save your money. You don't need to buy a new capture card. And for my Mac users out there that need to use the analog import on the capture card, I wouldn't get this either, because this capture card doesn't even work with any sort of Elgato software on the Mac for you to even change that setting. But that's gonna do it for this compare and contrast video. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Leave a thumbs up on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.